The Red Sox have acquired a left-handed arm, and this time in the variety of a relief pitcher. I'm here to break down who it is and how they're going to help this Red Sox team next season. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first remember, if you're a part of the 83% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, please scroll down. Help us get to our goal of 1,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel. It only takes a second of your time. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys so very much for it. But now let's get to it and break down Chapman to Boston. And again, this is big information for one reason, really, in multiple reasons, but one reason specifically, and that is because Boston is sticking to their word up to this point. Yes, it is only the second newest addition to this Red Sox team this offseason, but again, the Red Sox told us we are going to be frequent. We are going to make a splash this offseason. We are going to go out and we are going to compete with the other big name markets in order to really make improvements this offseason going into next year, whether it is spending enough money or just going out and getting a bunch of different type of players to fit into this team next year. And that's exactly what we're doing up to this point. Going out and getting Aroldis Chapman and for $10.75 million for a base. And there are bonuses that can get him up to $11 million. This was reported by Chris Cotillo as he goes on to say Red Sox prioritizing certainly with lefty relievers by adding him and Justin Wilson. As we know, Wilson was the earlier and only other signing this offseason, at least up to this point. And then Jeff Passan tweeting this out, really breaking the news nationally, saying left-handed reliever Aroldis Chapman and the Boston Red Sox are in agreement on a one-year, $10.75 million contract pending a physical. Sources tell ESPN Boston sought left-handed help for its bullpen and lands the 36-year-old Chapman. At Chris Cotillo said deal was progressing, and again, that was the tweet we did just end up citing. But again, this is a big signing for Boston because they are sticking to their word. They are actually going about what they have already stated they are going to do. And again, we've heard it year after year after year after year. Hey, we're going to be competitors this offseason. We're going to go out and get talent. We're going to re-sign big name talent. We're going to be really good next year. We're going to make a big splash. And then Mookie walks and he goes to LA because we didn't want to pay him. And then this, and then this, and then this. And it just constant failure to get the job done in the offseason. And right now, obviously, Soto is the biggest piece to the offseason puzzle. Whether he's coming to Boston or going elsewhere, he's the biggest piece. And again, whether Boston gets him or not, he maintains the biggest piece. Because if he lands in Boston, this entire offseason gets flipped on its head. And if he doesn't, it kind of still flips it on its head. Because one, we don't get him, but two, we have all the money that we tried to just demote and devote to Soto no longer going to Soto, and we can use that to go out and acquire other big name talents. Again, whether they be the pitching variety or of the offensive category from the right-handed bat standpoint that we so desperately need. But again, to really break down Chapman, what we're getting from Chapman, as we know, he was drafted in 2010 by the Cincinnati Reds, where he was fantastic. He was terrifying to watch, without a doubt, when he was young and he was able to sling it, and he was slinging it without a doubt, throwing a fastest speed of 105 mile per hour fastball, stuff you don't see out of the pitcher's hand. All you hear is the catcher's glove pop, and you blink, and you didn't know it even went by you. If you can time it up, yes, you can you can do damage. If you can time it up and put barrel to ball, which we'll see in a second based off his baseball savant, yes, you can do damage. But it is very hard to do when he is throwing that level of velocity. Now, it is not 2010 anymore, and he has been in the league for more than just a year, and it's been closer to 14, going on 15 years now, and because of that, the velocity is not as aggressive as it was. But please do not get anything twisted here. He still ranks not in the 98th percentile when it comes to fastball velocity amongst the MLB. That is damn good. And again, it translates. Obviously, the K percentage way up there, 99th percentile in K percentage. Very, very good in certain areas and very, very bad in other areas. We could say that a Chapman is very, very volatile. He can be very good for you. He can be very bad for you. Is this a person we want to leave in high leverage situations? Give the ball to with two runners on and one out, and we have to get out of this up a run. We have to get out of that. Do we want to go to Chapman? I'm not saying he's our go-to closer by any means, because it's been a long time since we saw Chapman in this all-time all-star level closer type of feel, in the sense there has been years where he had 30-plus saves in a single season multiple times. Again, that was years ago. Obviously, he's played now going to Boston, which will be, I believe, his 5th team in 5 years or 4 years. I'm sorry. It was New York in 22 and 23, Kansas City, Tennessee, or not Tennessee, excuse me, Texas, and then Pittsburgh, and now Boston. He has been all over the place after the first 2 teams took up the majority of his career, in the sense of Cincinnati, obviously, then before going to New York for 7 years, where he was an all-star multiple times. Again, he's far from that point in his career, but again, he is still a very, very good pitcher in certain areas. Yes, there are things that dip severely under the league average if you look at the average exit velocity, but you have to understand that correlates with the other things that we see at such a high level. The fastball is in the 99th percentile or 98th percentile, so the exit velocity, when the ball is able to be timed up and they can put barrel to ball, things are going to happen, and it's going to result in a very, very hard out or a very, very long home run. Again, yes, there's some in between, but again, usually when you throw that hard and the ball there is good contact made with that ball, regardless of the hitter, the exit velars are going to be up, and that's something that you see here, and that results in low chase rates, but again, high whiff percentages, and this is what we want to see. This is not a horrible signing from the Red Sox. I will say, all over social media, people either hate this move or they're okay with this move. I'm leaning closer to the idea that I'm very much okay with this move compared to hating it. I think we need the left-handed arms. There's no way around it. I'm not saying this is the best option for the Red Sox, as there are clearly a surplus and just a crazy amount of possible options for the Red Sox. But again, going out and getting him for a 1-year loaner type of deal, I don't think it's too bad of an option for these Red Sox, as again, they so desperately needed a left-handed arm. They wanted some extra velo in the bullpen. They definitely got it with Chapman. He's going to translate. I'm not saying he's going to be sitting between that 97 and 102 still like he was all those years ago, but again, with a slider that goes anywhere from 90 to 93 and that fastball that does touch 97 to 99, he's going to be able to hold his own. He's definitely going to be a relief type of guy. I don't believe he'll be our closer. Maybe in certain scenarios when he sees a bunch of lefties in that lineup, we could possibly see him see more than 2 guys, maybe possibly 3 to 4. But again, it comes down to the situation. But again, not going to expect him to be the lights-out closer for these Red Sox, but a very good complementary piece for a bullpen that needs it so desperately. And again, going out and getting him may lead us to think that Tanner Scott will not be on the horizon for these Red Sox. Obviously, we now have 3 total lefties in the bullpen, 2 of them being the newest additions to this team in the last 2 months for the Red Sox, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few more, just left-handed, and not only just arms from the bullpen in general. There are a lot of very, very good options here that we could see the Red Sox really pursue this offseason, whether it be Tanner Scott or not, I'm not sure, or even someone like Jeff Hoffman, due to the price it's going to request to get those guys, or demand to actually go out and get Tanner Scott and Jeff Hoffman. Obviously, if we're in the run for Soto, which it seems like there is a very good chance we are one of 2 teams involved with Soto. That is narrowing it down very, very much. But again, there's a chance it's us and the Mets in a 2-man race. And if that's the case, we could see why we're not going after players like Tanner Scott. If we're going out and getting the number 1, regardless of 1A, number 1 player in free agency or in the offseason, this offseason in Juan Soto, don't expect the Red Sox to be able to get 1A, 1B, and 1C, or 1A relief pitcher, 1A skill player, or position player, if you will. They're not going to be able to do that. Obviously, Tanner is going to be paid very, very well this year, and it doesn't mean we can't go out and get a collection of talent in order to make this Red Sox bullpen very, very wholesome going into next season. But again, that'll be it for this episode of Red Sox Digest. Overall, I'm okay with this signing. I think it helps us. I don't think it crumbles this team. I think it's going to do more than it does, or do more good than it does bad. And again, I can't wait to see who else is signed by this Boston Red Sox team, as I think there's going to be a bunch of different fireworks going off in the next 2 weeks or so. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next episode.